Uh, we are good to go.
Great. So today for Time Pass, I have the wonderful Taapsee Pannu. Welcome, Taapsee. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show. You've been doing movies back to back. You've been releasing them back to back, and I just cannot imagine what it must feel like for someone who's so active to be under lockdown.
Uh,
Talk a little about that, Taapsee.
Actually, it was a more than people who know me professionally, people who know me personally are even more shocked and surprised and to see that I've been under lockdown and I'm not moving out of the house since quite some time. So it's a bigger shock for them because not many people know that in my personal life itself, I'm very restless, very hyperactive, and can't stay at one place for a very long time. So yes, for someone like that, uh, it was kind of challenging, but funnily, surprisingly for my own self, first 1.5 months was very relaxed and very welcomed actually, because I've been running around since probably 2 years so crazily all over, releasing or shooting for
Yeah,
films, for 4 films every year. And this year was gonna be 5 to 6 films actually, if I was
yeah,
shooting in my regular
yeah.
schedule. But yeah, and I remember when the lockdown was called, I left with last 10 days of Haseen Dilruba, had to get into Run Lola Run's adaptation and Rashmi Rocket, which was supposed to be alternating schedules between the two, which I have not done before in Hindi
Right.
cinema, where I've
Yeah.
shuttled between two films. I always finish one and then move to the other.
Right. Right.
And then I had to get into Shabash Mittu, and then I had another commitment lined up, and as well my Tamil film as well. So it was like, and I was thinking that, okay, I'll take one day at a time because I don't know how I'm gonna get through all these films back to back. And then suddenly lockdown was
Yeah.
called.
Right.
So in a way, I was like just finishing Thappad's release and Haseen Dilruba's shooting back to back, and this came as a breath of fresh air suddenly to relax and
Yeah.
come and have full 8 to 9 hours of sleep every day was a welcome change in the beginning. Ma- to everyone's surprise, I mean, I was not the one complaining at all. For 1.5 months, honestly, I had calls from friends all over from different fields, everywhere, cribbing and complaining about it. And I'm like, I think I'm fine. And but then May when it started, and I started getting a little now restless because it was May and we still didn't know when is it going to open up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that question mark is what made me more restless. So now every day I'm looking forward, I'm tracking the news, I'm figuring out how does it look in the other parts of the world where it has opened
Yeah.
up, how long did it take there. So since
Right.
May now, the anxiety, or not really anxiety, but the restlessness has stepped in me. Yeah, so I'm hoping with this thing slowly opening up, at least I feel hopeful that it's gonna get back to our crazy normal life soon.
And all your roles in the recent past have also been very physically demanding, haven't they? It's not
Yeah,
that you've had to play very relaxed characters. I think Thappad was the most relaxed character you played in a
ever,
way
yeah,
after
yeah,
a long time. Because
yeah,
all,
yeah.
Sant Ki Aankh, all of them have been very physically demanding. So,
They were.
how is that?
Actually, even when this lockdown was called, I was only a month away from starting my shoot for Rashmi Rocket, which wanted me to look like a sprinter. And I
Yeah.
had started training for my physical, because if you have to come across as a professional sprinter, your entire my body was undergoing a transformation. And I remember since Jan 3rd I had started rigorous training, which included track training to gym training to proper physiotherapy sessions to certain diet to be followed.
Right.
And I every day morning during Haseen Dilruba's shoot in Haridwar in up north, where it's really cold in Jan, I
Hmm.
used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and then go for my running training. And
Wow.
by till 7:30 used to get done because 1.5 2 hours of training. Then directly go join Haseen Dilruba's set and shoot there for 12 hours. And again, call it a night by 10 in the night. So this used to be a regular day for me for months, like Jan,
Right.
Feb, March. And
Right.
then suddenly, when I was almost there, like I could see the finishing line to my training because I could see the body transformation happening, and we were like in the last few weeks. And
Right.
then this was called down. So it from suddenly high intensity training, I was shot down to nothing. And
Yeah.
since gym, everything was shut, and at home, I could only do limited amount of training. Yes, you can train at
Right.
home, but not for someone who was training to be a sprinter, look like a
Yes.
sprinter. So
Yeah.
that couldn't happen. And then I had to suddenly like transform, I mean, just cut down everything and change my entire training routine. But yeah, so it was like, and then the film got pushed so much, so it looked like, suddenly so much of physical stress and effort back to square one. Because
Yeah.
now, if you have to shoot Rashmi Rocket, I'll have to reschedule my entire calendar and see when I
Exactly.
can shoot in Bhuj,
Yeah.
because that requires a particular time of the year you can shoot there. So again, I'll
Right.
have to start 3 to 4 months before from the scratch again to train for that film. So yeah, that's physically quite demanding to do this back and forth.
Absolutely. And your whole body transforms, and what it requires transforms. You feel different as well, I imagine,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was very
psychologically and
different.
mentally.
It
Yeah.
is, it is because
Emotionally.
first of all, you're eating a high protein diet, and then,
Yes.
then your body is used to a particular amount of physical stress in workout every day.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this, it's like in all possible ways, I was physically and mentally getting tuned to getting into that sprinter's life, and
Yeah.
suddenly one fun fine day, it's just all called off.
Right.
So quite a shocker for the body.
But during this time, I think the reaction to Thappad, now that it's been screened, or rather streamed on OTT,
Hmm.
has been very heartwarming for you, hasn't
Hmm.
it? Because theatrically, of course, it got rave reviews. But
Hmm.
what has it been like now that it's out there on streaming? What have people been telling you?
It has just been like a re-release, Kaveri. It just felt like, when it released, it started getting tremendous response because we started screenings much before. You saw the
Yes,
film, say,
of
what,
course.
10 days before the
Yeah,
release, I guess, right?
yes, I did. And I loved
Yeah.
it.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's what. So we started the film 10 days, showing the film 10 days before. So we
Yeah,
had built a lot of expectations out of it, and then people went and saw, and the build up kept happening until the corona shut down theaters.
yeah,
And
right.
then, there was a small pause, and then it came on OTT. So it
Yeah,
felt like a continuation from there, because
right.
what had happened was, when it was in theaters, a lot of people had seen it, and already the word of mouth had started to travel, and we were
Hmm.
in theater for only 2 weeks. So
Hmm.
when our word of mouth had really picked up, the theaters were shut. So the
Hmm.
word of mouth though was still around, like people had
Hmm.
spoken about it. So I think
Hmm.
some of them were probably waiting for it to come on OTT because they had probably heard quite a lot about
Right.
it. So that's what happened when it came on OTT. I guess everyone was like curious to see what is it really about, and what are
Yeah.
people really
Hmm.
talking so much about. And that's when they saw it, and then that crazy reaction of like a re-release almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, endless debates, discussions. I mean, I had people from Malayalam cinema who were contacting me and telling me about how crazy is the discussion going on there. And they're
Right.
like, it's not very often we discuss Hindi movies in so much detail there, because Malayalam
Yeah.
cinema is, they are probably the most evolved out of
Yeah.
the lot.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, so for them to discuss Hindi movies is not that frequently that it happens.
Yeah.
So they were sending me these whole articles that were coming around in Malayalam newspapers and dailies, and people writing about it. Till date, I get a lot of these messages on social media in Malayalam and Tamil, and I can't really read it. I try translating it a little bit, but doesn't really give the exact meaning sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the response has been, as I mean, I knew that the people who are gonna see the film will have polarized reactions.
Right.
I was never in this myth that everybody is going to be sailing in my boat.
Yeah.
Because when you are doing a film on a social taboo, on something that has been ingrained in us since so long, and you're questioning it and you're trying to show a mirror which might make you feel a little uncomfortable, of course you don't expect 100%
Yeah.
positive reactions, because
Absolutely.
people would want to defend themselves and say, no, it doesn't happen, no, this is
Yeah.
wrong. And
Or
uh,
the usual, not all men are like that.
yeah, not all men are like that. Yeah. So all of that happened, and but then I never wanted to change people. I wanted to just start a discussion.
Right.
That has been my aim from Pink till Thappad. For whatever
Yeah.
films I do, whenever they have a social message attached to it, I am in no way trying to tell you that Amrita's decision was the ideal decision, or this is exactly what you're supposed to do. My idea is to start the discussion and start the conversation around, we need to do something about it. What you do is your decision, but you can't just shove it under the carpet and ignore it.
Right. And also, I think the way Thappar shows such a solidarity among women, that was so unusual. You don't often see that in what Hindi cinema, in any cinema. You don't see
Hmm.
women standing up for each other, for other women. That was
Hmm.
so unusual and heartwarming about it, wasn't it?
I think in Thappad, actually, you'll see both the sides. That how it's a woman who will tell the other woman to just let it be also, because it was my
Also, yeah.
mother-in-law and mother who both probably didn't want to acknowledge and didn't want to push it further, and was like, just forget it, it happened, move on, and all that. There were females in the film who were, in fact, my own lawyer in the film was like, it is a deal, it happens, don't make a
At
big
the
issue out of it.
beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
beginning, yes. So
yeah.
we showed both the sides, how women also are very much a party to this kind of misogyny, knowingly or unknowingly.
Right.
That they don't realize that it's there in them. They think it's okay just because it's been happening since years. So we've
Hmm.
shown both the sides of being a woman also in this patriarchal world we live in.
Tapsi, what is the response from young women in particular been? Because they have, for them, it's really something that's given them a lot of courage.
A lot. You won't believe, now it's almost like I feel guilty of missing out on reading those messages and long letters that have been written to me on social media,
Yeah,
be it on direct messages, or be it, all these posts that have been tagged on me, and a huge letter that follows in the caption. I have seen
right.
and read so many of them, and they are just so heartfelt. And most of them are these young women or the working women. So many of them have written, we made our parents see it. Someone said that, their mother just kept crying and didn't know what to say beyond it after the film got over. Someone said that they showed it to the parents, and they said, yeah, but this is okay, no, it just happens. Why to create a big issue out of it? So you had both the types of reactions from the elder generation when the younger generation tried to show this. But yeah, most of them have been very, some really heartwarming notes. Like I've I've got notes left outside my house to my
Wow.
emails,
Really?
to my emails or to my social media, everywhere. I think Mini and Anubhav sir have been like, I think we have etched our position in hearts of a lot of people there with this film, I feel.
And what is it about you, Tapsi, that makes directors like Anubhav want to work with you again and again? Your collaboration in Mulk was so fabulous. Again.
Yeah, I think it's just that I'm pretty adamant. Let me just say that. Yeah, it's just a relationship we build beyond what we do as an actor or a director, I feel. When you're working on a film, it's you spend 12 to 14 hours interacting with each other,
Yeah.
and you probably get to know each other much beyond than just being actors,
Hmm.
so actor or director for that matter. So I guess when that happens, and you figure out that, okay, we click as human beings, we are in same tune, or in some way or the other. So that kind of makes us feel okay, there's a comfort factor. And because it's just the sense or the thinking style, whatever you call it, is similar in a lot of ways, I guess. So that's what gets the chemistry going between a director and an actor, be it Anubhav sir, be it Anurag for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked with them, and in fact, if you see my filmography, most of the directors of mine are the ones who have repeated me.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I keep making fun of that I'm so horrible in auditions. That's why I don't get to work with new directors, because I fail all auditions. It's only the directors who worked with me who give me more work, be David sir, Neeraj sir, or now Anubhav sir, Anurag. I'm sure Sujoy also, Sujoy and I will work again for sure in the future.
I'm
So
sure.
uh,
You really enjoyed Badla, huh? I could see that, even through the film, that you were really sort of enjoying it. And working with Amitabh Bachchan, another person whom, with whom you've been repeated almost,
hmm,
from Pink to Badla. And I've
hmm.
seen off screen the rapport you have with him. Nobody can speak to him the way you speak to him. Let me tell you, everyone is terrified of him. How
I
do
funny
you?
thing
How
is, not just you, even Abhishek feels the same. So it's
Yeah, how are you so comfortable with the legend of Indian cinema and all
yeah,
that?
because simply because I have just cut that legend part of it aside in my mind when I think of the Amitabh Bachchan. So for me, he is one of the coolest co-stars you can really like sit and chat with, because he has so many stories if you probe. Because
Right.
he's seen so many generations now.
Yeah.
And the fact that he just probably is as curious and inquisitive as a newcomer when he comes on set. Never does he say that, okay, I know this, I've done this before, or,
Mm.
I know it, I've done
Yeah.
enough of it kind. So you never will
Right.
you get that vibe from him on the set. So yeah, so that's why I think, and I think I figured this out in the first film in Pink itself, that if I
Yeah.
keep looking at him from the lens of that legend
Yeah.
filter, I don't think I'll ever be able to have any chemistry with him, because he'll always be at some other pedestal, on some other pedestal in my head, and I don't think I'll come to terms with him on in front of the camera, which is going to harm the film or both of us
Right.
for that matter in the performance. So I kind of switch off in my head that he
Yeah.
is the legend, and it has been off since then.
And he seems to love it. I think he
uh,
enjoys
I think
the
he really likes the
banter.
fact. He likes the fact that, because he's just probably, I've seen that he's so probably done with the fact that there are people who just are always putting him on the other pedestal, because they're just so overwhelmed to have him around, and
Right.
just calling, almost treating him like a demigod. So I think he also kind of enjoyed and had a refreshing feeling when someone who is relatively much younger is now treating him like, you're my co-star. you're not
Yeah.
you're not a legend or a demigod sitting there.
Yeah.
So I guess he kind of probably like that, is why we get along well.
Tapsi, what for you was the turning point in your career? Because there were a lot of films that you did in Telugu and Tamil as well,
Hmm.
which were very successful.
Hmm.
But somehow, or for me, maybe just because we're up north, for me, Baby was that little role you did there was the
Hmm.
one that sort of shook everyone up. But correct
Yeah.
me if I'm wrong.
No, that's true. Actually, I have done a lot of films in South, and particularly in Telugu, I was the conventional commercial glam heroine.
Yeah,
And in
exactly.
Tamil, I have done very few films compared to Telugu. I had done only three or four of them, out of which most of them were really big hits. But
With
again,
Dhanush, for
with
instance.
Dhanush, that was my first film.
Yeah.
Then I had done Kanchana too. I had done a film called Arambam with Ajit Sir, Arya, Nayantara, which was a huge hit.
Yeah.
I like my so-called hit rate with films in Tamil was really high, but it was my frequency was not good there.
Right.
But with Telugu, I used to do a lot of films, and most of them I used to be those conventional big films and
Yeah.
big heroes and big production and all that.
And
But
glamorous songs
yeah,
and
yeah,
all that.
yeah, all of that. Because for the longest time in my head, or whatever was told to me, or whatever I saw around, was the idea of becoming a big heroine is, doing big films and opposite big
Right.
heroes, and
Yeah.
doing these conventional heroine roles is what will
Yes.
make you a big heroine.
Right.
So that I was going by that definition until I realized that this is not working for me, because a lot of films of mine, after some time, a lot of films back to back started not working at the box office.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
around the same time I was debuting in Hindi, so I started realizing that there's something that's going wrong, because these are the films that people said I should be doing because they are on paper big films. And
Right.
that's how all my contemporaries have reached the next level by doing these kind of big films. But I realized that I am not able to step up with these
Yeah.
films. Something is going wrong somewhere. And that's when I thought, okay, I need to probably change the direction. And I just wanted to start from the start. And I started thinking in a different way, and I started choosing films in a different way. and
Yeah.
and then Hindi happened. And in Hindi, after I did Chashme Badur, I wanted to do something which is going to be drastically opposite. Got to know
Yes.
about Baby. I knew it's a very small role, but I knew that if I'm going to do it well, people are going to
Yes.
remember me for a very long time. At least when they walk out of the theater, they'll remember me because they will least expect me to do this.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what happened. I think that got me the attention I needed. And after that, yeah, followed by Pink, kind of like made me visible to everyone. And
Yeah.
thereafter, it got me a sense of direction in my career.
And that sense of direction was what? That you can be true to yourself, you can follow your heart, and you can follow your instinct and still be successful.
Yeah, that you don't have to, you have to just listen to your mind and heart. There is no
Right.
fixed formula that you can blindly follow and you'll get
Yeah.
success. it's
Yeah.
it's okay to just find your own way. Even if there's no one else who has followed that path, you can make
Hmm.
yours. But
Hmm.
just be honest to yourself that you did it because you like it, not because you were told to do so.
Hmm. And some of the women you've played since then have been amazing and quite different from what you would expect. Say, a sharpshooting grandmother. I mean, of all people, who would expect you to do that? Or
uh,
Rumi in
yeah.
Manmarzia, that character was so self-willed and flawed, yes, but also so happy to live the life she did. So these are not your conventional,
Hmm.
even conventional heroine subjects.
Hmm.
When you talk about heroine oriented movies, these are
Hmm.
slightly unconventional, even given that parameter.
Hmm. Yeah, they are. I mean, but these again, as I told you, I stopped thinking from the point of view that, this is, I'm gonna play a heroine, so this is how it should be. My criteria
Yeah.
of choosing a film started to be like, will I go and watch this in theater? This film, this story.
Yeah.
And then with my character, I started thinking, okay, is it something predictable, or is it a character I would love to see? Okay, what is she gonna do next? Or it's a very
Right.
new kind of a character to look at. Most of the times, what used to happen, most of the times, it was just so black and white. Everything was just so
Mm.
black and white for women, especially in cinema,
Yeah.
that either you have to be this righteous woman, or you
Yeah.
have to be the vamp. there
Right.
it was there was there were barely films in this mid zone, and I feel this is the mid zone we all live in. I don't think all, and none of us probably are black or white. I feel we are all shades of gray. So why is it in our films that the women characters are not shown like that? Most of the times they are actually aspirational. Either you
Mm.
want them to be totally the righteous, the
Yeah.
goddess there,
Yeah.
or you just like seen her as the proper disgusting figure who you should never be following in life. So
Right.
that black and white thing needed to be washed off. And probably that was a refreshing thing to for me to hear when I heard the narrations, or to see that there are people who were making very real, believable women who are not fully black or fully white. So that excited me. Their unpredictability excited me, and I think that's what got the attention of the audience, because they also probably felt, okay, they might like her or not like her, but they will notice her. It will not
Yeah.
be like you leave the theater and you only remember the female character for the song, or
Yeah.
or for the way she looked. Because I
Yeah.
remember for the longest time in South, when after all these glam films of mine, every interview I did and everywhere I was invited on stage, it was all about, the glamorous, the gorgeous, the beautiful, which is great. But,
Yeah.
as an actor, I wanted it to be also about someone who can perform, or
Yeah.
who has the power to hook the audience, which was never really added in my introductions anywhere. And it's not that I was like angry about it, but I realized that, probably I haven't shown it as yet for them to feel that.
Right.
And that's what I was missing in my introduction, which I started correcting over time.
Right. Are you writing your own material as well, Tapsi, especially in these last few weeks?
No, I'm not much of a writer.
Huh?
I've never really been. I am barely a reader, actually. I've been reading a lot of scripts, yes, during this.
Right.
I'm probably, you can say, I'm better off with tweaking things. So I'm
Okay.
better off with, if you give me a material, I can, like a lot of friends of mine who are in the industry, they sometimes send the concept or a story or a script to me to see if this is working or no, or
Yeah.
what can be changed, or what do you feel is missing, on all that. I'm good at tweaking. I'm good at pointing out, okay, this is working, this is nice, or this is
So
not nice.
you're a good script doctor, as they call it, huh?
I can just pick out pluses and minuses. I don't know what to do about it. Even when they come to me for
Okay.
narration, when they send me a script, I have a diary I make on notes on, so that I'll fill
Okay.
the diary with notes about, okay, this is working, this is not working, and all that. But
Right.
what to do about it, how to change it, that I tell them that please don't ask me. I'm not a writer. I don't know that. I just know what the problem is. I don't know how to solve it.
But Anubhav also told me that one of the wonderful things about you is that you don't care only about your own part. You care
Mm,
about the movie as a whole. So you're
mm,
always looking at how the other parts are also written, how the movie is going. Because you're not
mm,
just saying, okay, my role is great, that's it. I'm happy.
mm,
So I
because
suppose that's also part of that.
that's also because I think, as I told you, all my choices are basis the mistakes I've made. Because no, there was nobody to train me or
Yeah.
help me in that way. So I made my share of mistakes and then learned from them what to do and what not to do. So there were a lot of films of mine where when I did a good job, people were like, "Hey, you are nice," but the
Huh.
film is not good. You're
Right.
nice, and I maybe they're just saying it to my face to make me feel better. But I felt I had really given my best there and given my heart and soul, but they were like, the film is not good. But then I understood that the film is not good, no matter
Yeah.
how much hard work you put in it,
Yeah.
it's not going to be recognized. People are not
Right.
going to feel it. So then I realized, okay, you can't put yourself ahead of the film. The
Yeah.
film needs to come first. You cannot be bigger than the film. So
Hmm.
that's from those mistakes I realized I need to first like the film. And then
Hmm.
if you like the film, everything is good in the film.
Right.
Everything is good. So that, again, I learned from my mistakes, and I'm like, now I'm only bothered about making the film likable. So when I read the scripts, my
Yeah.
points are not basis what my character is doing. It's basis what anyone else is doing, or what
Right.
action is happening in that moment. I might be there in that scene or no, doesn't matter. But it's more to look the film is working or no is
Right.
important.
Tapsi, we have a question from one of our associates, Rajiv Singh from ICC. I think he wants to ask a question. Yes, Rajiv, please go ahead.
Hi, Taapsee. Uh,
Hi.
so my question is, I'll go with the theme, life under lockdown. So suddenly you get hit by a lockdown and you are like out of work for 2 months.
Hmm.
People are talking of the second wave of COVID.
Hmm.
So the uncertainty which hits you,
Hmm.
you can't anticipate, you can't plan. So
Hmm.
what is your message, since you have a huge following of the youngsters?
Hmm.
What's your message? How do you deal with these kind of situations in life?
See, I'll tell you. my life is a living example of the fact that life is what happens when you are busy making plans. Because I was busy making plans for my MBA and God knows what all, and here I am far away from all that I planned. And that is because I took every day as it came, and I never pre-planned and then get overtly disheartened every time the plan failed. So that is what again I learned after I realized none of my plans are working. No matter how diligently I'm following it, it's not working. So rather, let's take every day as it comes. If today like a lot of my contemporaries and a lot of people ask me this question, don't you feel anxiety, don't you feel what's going to happen? And I'm like, anyway, it's not under my control. It's not
Yeah.
like I can change anything. So why should I stress about something that I cannot change? What is in my hand is what is happening around me right now, and I need to make the most of that right now without bothering about where it's going to go, because we are, first of all, we are all in the same boat. It's not bad only for you, it's bad for someone sitting across the oceans as well. So it's not like you are being targeted specifically. So all you can do is today just take it by the day, and not stress about making long term plans, because that's nobody can predict. The only uncertainty that, as I told Kaveri, bothered me was that when am I going to work next? When am I going on the set? But nowhere ever I had the anxiety or nervousness about what's going to happen to my future. Or I know I will make it work. I have made my life worth it from wherever I was 10 years back to now. It's me and my hard work who's gotten me here, which has gotten me here. So obviously, I will make my life worth it from here, no matter whatever problems I'll face. That's the mark of true success, to make the most out of whatever resources you have in hand. So it's not going to be the be all and end all of life. I will figure out a way, because I want to live. The idea is, you sure you want to live today.
Yeah.
Don't stress about, few months or weeks from now what's going to happen. Live in the day. I think that's going to help.
And a lot of that is also reflected in the new movies that you've taken on, Taapsee. What is going to happen to them? Are some of them ready? Are they? Will they go to OTT? Will they go to theaters? Do you think
None
about
of
that?
them are ready, honestly. None of them are ready. I am left with one big schedule of a Tamil film that I was nearing completion. I'm left with 10 days of shoot for Haseen Dilruba, which I was shooting before the lockdown was called. And that was my next Hindi release, which was um, before COVID, planned for September release.
Right.
So Haseen Dilruba was planned for mid-September release, and uh, I mean, I'm not done with it as yet. There are 10 days of shoot left, so I don't think that question of OTT comes right now. Right now, we all are just bothered about, just finishing it. So then we can see what is a situation with theaters, and then take a call.
Tapsi, you're also very fearless about your opinions on social media, and you get trolled a lot as well for it, and you give it quite.
I
You give
just
it.
I just need to be a female to be trolled on social media, and as a bonus, I'm a female celebrity, which just makes it even more obvious that I will be trolled.
And a female celebrity with a mind of her own, which is of course the worst
Who
thing.
likes to speak, or that is like, you're just keeping yourself on a platter then for people. So I'm happy I'm giving employment and like some kind of value to their life, to a lot of people. Yeah.
What is your training as a software engineer? Does it ever come in handy, the kind of training that you had?
I think I left that road long back, but the
Yeah.
fact, it's just so important to have a a kind of a degree. I feel I've always said, people who ask me, want to give tips to the people who are coming, joining films or
Yeah.
wanting to
Yeah.
be an actor.
Yeah.
I always tell them it's just so important to have an educational background of any sort,
Right.
because it just gives you a strength of confidence that this is not going to be the end of life if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that engineering degree that I had in computer science was like, okay, Tapsi, you're good in that. Okay, you are good in this as well. But if this doesn't work for any reason, in some time, anytime for that matter,
Yeah.
you can do something else as well. So that confidence that that is there with that because of that degree. I think that's something that will help you stay away from a lot of wrong decisions that you can make under pressure
Yeah.
in this industry.
Yeah, sometimes when you're struggling, things are not working out, you may want to do films that don't justify your talent.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I was very, very careful of, that I at no point I should be doing a film because I am forced because of the financial issue, or I don't know what majboori, can be anything, but
Yeah,
shouldn't be a majboori to do a film.
right. And you're also an entrepreneur, is that right?
Yeah.
You run a travel portal. How is that going?
Not
Not
a
right
travel
now.
not a travel portal. I run a wedding planning company, and that's my run by my sister actually.
Uh-huh.
I helped her like just start it, and it's she who does the basic groundwork. Only in some major decision making of the company I'm involved. Otherwise, it's she who handles it mostly. So yeah, so that's a wedding planning company, which obviously is on a pause right now. It's off.
Yeah,
It's fully off season right now with weddings.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, when you come back to shooting, what are the things that you'll bring to it? Will there be some elements of you that are different?
As it is, I never had Monday blues because I chose a job I was excited about going to every day. So that is
Right.
not going to be a problem or different. I just think. I don't know actually. I've never really, I never took this time as a time for self introspection or, reassessment of any sort that will change me as a human being when I go on set. I used to do that regularly anyway,
Right.
regardless of this lockdown. So I just think I'll be just probably very, very well rested when I'm going to go to work. Other than that, I don't think I have any difference in me as a human being after this.
Are you in touch with some of your directors and co-actors? How are they feeling?
Yeah, whatever I mean, whoever I know of, I think everyone is looking forward to going to work now. All of them are like, okay, it's getting enough now. Let's just the most anxious is probably Vinil because his film is stuck midway.
Yeah, that's a
So
Dilruba, right?
Hasin Dilruba, yeah. So he is the most anxious one because he's as it is that perfectionist who wants to like do everything very properly till the very end, and he's getting those weird anxiety attacks right now to when can I finish the film. So apart from him, everyone else is like not that bad, but they're all like now wanting to go to work. Everybody's had enough time of sitting and watching stuff and world cinema and all that. Now everyone's like, no, let me make my own cinema now. Enough of world cinema.
The last question, Tapsi, we are all looking forward to Lola, Run especially, and it's something that you are, I believe, also very excited about. Can you
Hmm.
tell us a little about the adaptation? Because the
Hmm.
original is fantastic.
It is, and it is a very unique concept. It was definitely a unique concept back then. It's funnily, it still stands true. It is a unique
Yeah,
concept even
it's
now. It's
been
not
quite,
like
it's been quite a long time even then.
Yeah, so it's not like it has become an easy concept for people to digest now. So what
Yeah,
we had to do was, especially for an Indian audience, who obviously is, apart from cinema junkies, the people don't really watch German films or
right,
other European films, so to say. So for them to digest this kind of a concept for a regular movie, an average movie goer in India, uh, that kind of an out of the box concept needs to marry an Indian concept
right.
and then we present it to them so it's more edible in a way.
Yeah.
So we were when we were discussing, I mean, they had already had touches of that when they narrated it to me, which got me excited because I realized it's got a very interesting, strong link to something very Indian, and
Hmm.
how which is going to make it very easily palatable for the Indian audience. So we have married that Indian concept with Run Lola Run's concept, and which is going to make it that unique, special thing for the Indian audiences to accept that this concept is believable. So that was the
Which
biggest
is
challenge.
the woman's love for her husband, right? Which is
Yeah, that, yeah.
yeah. So,
Woman's love for the husband to get him back come what may.
No
I
matter
won't be able to divulge. I won't be able to divulge much because that's going to probably reveal a plot which we really want people to see and just feel that eureka moment. But yeah, so it's that whole thing of come what may, I'll get my guy back.
Right.
So that
Is, is Anurag directing you in that, or is he
no, no,
just
no, no. Akash Bhatia is directing, the one who directed Inside Edge 2. He is a very successful
Okay.
ad filmmaker as well. So he is
Right.
directing. It's his first film. And yeah, Anurag has got nothing to do with it. Anurag is
Okay.
doing another film with me, which is a science fiction, supernatural thriller. Again, a very unique concept that's not been done in India as yet. So
But
that's
your whole
something.
but your whole schedule will now have to be reworked completely.
Yeah, totally. And it's going to depend not just upon which film is to be shot first or which was supposed to be shot first.
Uh,
It'll depend upon the weather, the weather at the locations that the film is supposed to be shot in. Because as I told you, Run Lola Run was supposed to be shot in Mumbai and Goa, and it's
yeah.
mostly outdoors. So you
Yeah,
can't
my
be,
God.
yeah, but you can't be shooting in Mumbai and Goa in on rainy season, which is just
Right.
around the corner.
Yeah.
So, and then Rashmi Rocket was based out of Kutch. Now,
Hmm.
Kutch is going to be 50 degrees right now. So, it's not feasible for us to shoot there as well. And for Shabash Mithu, I need to have a proper cricket training before I go on floor. So there are a lot of these clauses attached to it. So I'm not planning, as I told you. I will plan only once I know exactly when I'm going on floor. It's only Anurag's film that can go on floor in rain, like during the rainy season. So apart from that, we'll have to see depending upon when are we opening up.
Right. Thank you very much, Tapsi. It was a real pleasure to talk to you. I think our viewers had a wonderful time as well. They were looking forward to listening to you, and I hope
Thank you.
they're happy. Rajiv, is there anything else that you'd quickly like to ask Tapsi before we allow her to leave us?
Not really. I'm happy to
Okay,
be here. Thank
great.
you.
Thank you so much, Tapsi, and all the very best. And
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.
much.
may you continue to make these choices, which really define you and define new Hindi cinema. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank